Hello everyone, a very good afternoon. My name is Anwar Shafiq, and before we begin, let's enjoy a montage prepared by the R&D Studio production. Enjoy. Wow, what an exciting video prepared by R&D Studio. We hope you enjoyed the video just now. Dear guests, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to everyone. I hope that you I hope that you enjoyed the morning session that we had just now. Now, we are moving to the next agenda for today, and I really hope that everyone managed to eat your lunch and perform your solar. So, welcome to our second speaker session with the industry. First of all, I cannot wait to say that our guest today is a very special. We have Mr. Irwan Junaidy, co-founder, Chief Creative Officer of the R&D Studio, and Director of Batik Girl. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me tell you everyone a little bit of information about our speaker today. Mr. Irwan Junaidy graduated from the United Kingdom with a degree and a postgraduate diploma in architecture, where he had won student competition and had his design exhibited at the Royal Institute of British Architects. He co-founded the R&D studio, or ROOK, in 2011, an award-winning content development studio based in Malaysia. Since its inception, the studio has more than 100 IPs in its library in various stages of development and production across different formats and genres for film, television, and the internet. In 2018, the R&D studio produced the live-action TV series Wizard of Wonder Walk, the first long-run TV series produced by Disney in Southeast Asia. Rogue directorial debut, Batik Girl is a 2D animated short film that went on the successful festival circuit and won international acclaim. It's been a great pleasure to have you, Mr. Irwan Junaidy. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. I'm good.
So now you know the background of our speaker from industry. Me and the audience are very keenly anticipated to know about your production and sharing. Let's invite Mr. Irwan Junaidy to the stage.
Okay, thank you, Anwar. Thanks for inviting me here to talk about Batik Girl. So I'll share my screen with you and I'll start my presentation. Okay, screen okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so my name is Irwan Junaidy. I'm the co-founder of the R&D studio. So the talk will be divided into three sections. I will talk about a bit about my journey, how I started. I will talk about Batik Girl, and then there's going to be 15-20 minutes for Q&A at the end of the session. So you can ask me any questions then. So let's start with my journey. My earliest memory of doing something creative was playing with Legos. So I remember having Lego sets, building it once, just to follow the instructions, and then I put everything in my Lego box. So there's hundreds of bricks in the Lego box, and then I'll create my own creations, and I'll tell stories around those creations. So that was my earliest memory of doing creative stuff. And I wasn't a very good student, but I got into a boarding school in Kuala Kangsar, and here for 5 years, I learned to be independent. I learned to trust my friends, and in this year, I learned that I have a skill that could make money. And at Form 2, when I was 14 years old, I found out that I could design stuff. So I designed a T-shirt for the school co-op. They paid me 20 ringgit. So that was my first designer fees. And I was so happy with 20 ringgit. But I found out that they were selling the T-shirts for 20 ringgit each. And I was like, something wrong here. And when I was in Form 5, I started my first business. So it was selling sandwiches because we live in boarding school, and at nights, you're hungry, and the cafe is closed, the dining hall is closed. So I borrowed this sandwich maker from my grandmother, and and I roped in some of my friends to do sandwiches. So we had the sandwich maker, then we had runners, then we had people going around the dorms, and we had people collecting money and people delivering the sandwiches. So it was a well-oiled business machine, and this is my first gig as a producer. And I found out that you could make money this way by just doing one product. You could make money, and that is the first lesson here. So sometimes you work hard again, but sometimes we work smart. And I found out that early on that working smart is always better than working hard. And compared my first design fee of 20 ringgit dapat sekali, and compare it with the sandwich making business, which is we were selling sandwiches for 1 ringgit each, and we sold hundreds and hundreds of sandwiches, and we make money out of that. So work smart is better than working hard. And I knew I had inclinations towards design, so I wanted to do something which to me was easy, which was a design-based course when I went after high school. So I wanted to do architecture, but my results weren't very good. I could not get a scholarship to do architecture. I could only get a scholarship to do town planning. And because I really wanted to do architecture, I came up with a plan. During my first year, I did a portfolio of design. I remember designing a mosque. With lasers on its dome, because I didn't want a dome. I wanted lasers. So I designed those things. I went to the head of architecture faculty, and I showed him the designs. I said, I know I have a scholarship to do town planning, but I have the skills to be an architect. I really want to be an architect. And so he wrote a letter to JPA and saying that he recommended me to change my scholarship from town planning to architecture. And so I got upgraded to a architecture scholarship. And that is the second lesson here. If a road is not presented to you, build your own road. I had a town planning scholarship, but I wanted to be an architect, so I, did whatever I could to get into architecture. And you don't whine and complain and say the world is against you, because there are things that you can do to improve what your future is. So build your own road. And so I studied in the UK. This is my campus in the University of Greenwich. Greenwich is just outside London. So this is my campus being attacked by dark elves. This is Jack Black in Gulliver's Travel. This is Jack Sparrow. So We did not do a lot of studying at the campus because a lot of Hollywood productions happen. But this is a heritage building. There's this campus here, the Greenwich Maritime Campus. So we had a lot of Hollywood types dropping by to do their films and everything. So remember the sandwich business that I did when I was in Hong Kong. So my partner during that day is my co-founder for the R&D studio, which we started in 2011. So what we are is a content development studio. So we just don't do, no, we do a lot of different things. We do animation, we do live action, we do interactive, and we do print projects. And we're an MSC status company, and we have a lot of good and big Malaysian clients. So we've done work for all the broadcasters in Malaysia. We've done work for big GNCs, big corporates, government agencies, so everything. And we've also done work for national clients. We've done work for the Walt Disney Company, Warner Media. We've done work on a YouTube original, so commissioned by YouTube, and from Tokyo Broadcasting System. So we've also won international awards. These are some of the awards that we've won. And in 2018, in the middle of 2018, Disney was looking for people to do a series for them. So it's Disney's first long-form scripted TV series. So Disney had Club Mickey Mouse before this. Club Mickey Mouse is a variety show, so it's unscripted. It's up to the host to talk about whatever is happening. So this is scripted and it's long form. Long form means about a half an hour show. So they talk to a lot of the big guys. We're a small company, so we were invited and we pitched to them this idea about this Peranakan family who studies, West wizarding blood, so they can do spells and stuff like that. And we finally got greenlit. So our proposal got greenlit, and in 2018 we started production. So we handled everything, coming out with the idea, the logo, everything, scripting, casting. For the casting, we saw quite a lot of kids and professionals. And we also did the post-production, did the VFX internally. So it was one of our big breaks to be doing this show for Disney. So from Disney, we learned about marketing the Disney way. So just before the show was launched on TV, they had an event at KL Tower. So you had a podium, you had wands near the podium. So you pick up the wand and you pick a color at the color wheel there, and the KL Tower changes color. So it was like a really big deal before the show was out. And these are some of the pictures of Wizards of One Walk. We have the reading, that's the top left bit. For the casting, I remember we saw over 300 kids because for a Disney show, you need to be a triple threat. Triple threat means you can act, sing, and dance. And that's quite hard for a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, because that's our lead character. Some people can act really well, but they can't sing and dance. Some people can sing really well, they can't act and dance. So we needed to find somebody who could do all three. And our lead character, Emma, she was 13 when we saw her, and she could sing, and she could play the guitar, and she could act. So she was quite fine. So we shot at Pinewood, Iskandar, Malaysia. It's called Iskandar Malaysia Studios in Johor Bahru. And we had 2 sound stages to build our sets. So we had 6 sets, 5 permanent sets and 1 temporary set, which changes from being a classroom to being a shop, to being a restaurant. And we had permanent sets. The middle top is the magic lair. So that's my favorite set. So this is where the kids learn how to do magic. And the bottom middle is the living room. And we also have the kopitiam set uh, in the middle, and the classroom set, the school corridor set, bottom right. So did the visual effects. So we had a big green screen, and we had to do all this guests, which, there's a toyo, there's a jinn. This is the jinn, bottom left. So we had the costume designer design the jinn a la Balinese, more Balinese. We had a pocong. So we had all these uh, supernatural monsters and ghosts, but it's been Disneyfied, so they're friendly. They're not evil or anything like that. So it was a thrill to have our billboards in KL, in Bangsa, in PJ. It was the first time that we had a work out, shown to everyone. So when we started the company in 2011, we knew we wanted to work with the best people. We knew we wanted to work with the biggest companies, and they don't get any bigger than Disney. So from 2011 we started to 2018 we got the Disney job. So it took us 7 years to get Disney. And you have to remember, this is a lesson that is a marathon, not sprint. You have to pace yourself. You have to not put everything all in for one brief shining period and then you burn out. So you have to pace yourself in life, in work, in relationships, so that everything is long term and not just something you get quick. And we started doing our first television web series, Jungle Magic, in 2017. It was the first Malaysian project to be selected to be pitched at NSC France. NSC France is the biggest animation festival in the world, and they liked our proposal, and we pitched the proposal. And when we got back home, we got money to do this, and we just completed it in October. So now we're just fine tuning some episodes. So now we are talking to broadcasters to see what's the best deal for Jungle Magic. Again, Jungle Magic is about these three kids, about this Banda boy, Eden, who is sent to live with his grandfather at the kampung. And at the kampung, he befriends Omar. Omar is a boy with a cloud on top of his head. He's the son of a celebrity bomo, very big guy, the guy with the binoculars thing. And we have Marissa, who is a were tiger, it's a harimau jadian. So they're kids, but they live next to a magic jungle. So these stories are inspired by when you're at kampung. When my grandmother used to tell me, be respectful when you go into the jungle. Don't do this, don't do that. Ada pantang larang and all these things. So this series is inspired by what my grandmother told me. So right now we're also finishing up these 3 short films. Frame Memories is we finished it actually. Is about a boy and his big brother. Kueh Apocalypse, this modern versus traditional kueh punya short film. And we had the Dalang Still. So this is my second short film that I'm directing. The Dalang Still is about something serious. It's about domestic abuse, but it's presented in a wayang kulit presentation layer. So the visuals are inspired by wayang kulit. So it all started with Batik Girl. The idea for Batik Girl is about this girl who is orphaned, just lost his parents, and is living with her grandmother somewhere in Kuala Terengganu. So her drawings of a girl and this shapeshifter comes to life on a batik painting, and she learns to conquer her fears and embrace a new life with her grandmother after this that particular dream sequence. So our initial designs for Mas, that's the lead character, is this. So it's a lot different than what was the final design. The idea for Batik Girl came is actually was from Italy. Actually, we were at the Bologna International Children's Book Fair, which is the biggest children's book fair in the world, and I was there to look at books, children's books, to see how, you know, at what level do we need to do if we want to play in this level, this world level. So I was there to do research, and at the Malaysian Pavilion. So this is the Malaysian Pavilion. There was tables, and people can come in and talk to authors and illustrators, and we they had the tables and they had batik tablecloths on it. So for us, it was tablecloth batik, kain batik. It's what my grandmother mandi at the kampung with. It was nothing. But there was one time when there's this Mat Saleh couple, quite elderly, about 70 years old, 60, 70 years old. They were looking at the tablecloth and they were talking to each other for 5 to 10 minutes. And they were pointing at the tablecloth. They were ignoring all the lovely books around. And me and my co-writer Heidi, we were thinking, what are they looking at the batik tablecloth? Were there things moving in it? And that became the idea for the Batik Girl film. So we imagined there was something moving on the batik cloth, and we did a film from it. So the concept for Batik Girl is actually inspired by batik tulis. Batik tulis is drawn batik which uses the canting. The canting is a copper tool where you have melted wax on it, and then you draw lines on the kain, on the cloth. And then when the wax is dry, then you paint around it. So there's two stages to do batik tulis. These are the lines. You just draw them with the canting. But if you put colors without the drawn lines, it just spreads on the cloth and it mixes and it's ugly. You need both of them to work together. You have colors, you have lines. So something which is very different, the lines and the colors, on its own they're okay, but when they're together, it makes something beautiful. So this becomes the key concept of Batik Girl. Two different things working together, creating something beautiful. And we wanted to apply this to all of the parts of the film, the story, the visuals, the music. So for the story, we had to look at the emotional core. So every good story has an emotional core. So for me and my writing partner Heidi, we both had daughters, and we wanted to tell a story revolving around a little girl. So we had this idea about this little girl who had just lost his parents, because sometimes when you're a parent, you think, what would happen if you're not around? What would happen to your child? And we hope that if something happens to us, our daughter will be okay. So in every good story, you need to have a conflict, a sort of like a drama. So in this particular story, the girl doesn't want to move on. She had just lost her parents. She's just processing her grief, what's happened to her, and she still thinks about the parents, but she doesn't want to accept the grandmother. She rejects the grandmother. So this became the emotional core of the particular story. It's about the relationship between the grandchild and the grandmother. So metaphorically, past represents the colors. Her life and feelings are in a mess, just like the colors on the kain, where everything is mixed together. Her feelings are all over the place because her parents died. So Tomak, who is more elderly, who is more older, represents the red lines. She is structure. She is the love that helps Mas move on from her life. So we also wanted to do Okay, this is sort of like what's called a ring composition. So these are the things which we found out when we were doing research, and a ring composition is where the beginning is reflected at the end. So at B is reflected at the second last, C is reflected at the third last, and we have a midpoint. The midpoint is where uh, the interesting thing happens. So it kind of like a mirror. The first half of the show is mirrored in the second half of the show. So we have Batik Girl. I hope you guys have seen it. So we have the original family is mirrored right at the end with the new family. The falling petals is mirrored by Batik Girl falling down on the flower. Mars runs away from the grandmother's house. It's mirrored at when Batik Girl flies away on the butterfly. And we have a paper boat that Mars does on the swing, which is also reflected in the leaf when the boat sails away. And Mars paints the cloth, and Batik Girl paints the world inside the Batik world. So the middle point is where the Batik world comes alive. When we do animation, storyboard is important. So we had 60 shots like that in the real world and the Batik world. So these are some of the storyboards. These are all the storyboards that we did for Batik Girl. So you can see the first half of the show is in the real world, and then we have the sequence in the world, and we go back into the real world. Also, there's two different styles of visuals in the film. We have the real world. So the real world is more realistic. We did a road trip to Palu Terengganu to do research, and we wanted it to be as realistic as possible. The things in it, the architecture, the landscape, as close as we can to what happens in Palu Terengganu. So we flew there. Heidi flew there. Didn't know anything, so at the airport she just talked to the taxi guy and asked the taxi guy, said, I need to talk to a small batik one woman show punya sort of thing. And the taxi guy said, oh, okay, I know one. And the taxi guy brought Heidi to Kaza, who is like the top mark character lah. There's a one woman show, and there we saw what are the things that happens in the batik workshop, because we know what happens in a big industrial factory and all those things, but what happens in a small one. So this is Kaza's house and her workshop next to it, and we could see the processes, how she does it, and the things in the workshop which we never knew. And also saw the swing set on the water. So at Surut, it's sand and the swing is there. But when I pasang, I and covers everything, so the swing is like in the middle of the water. So we did not know that before we went to KT. So when we saw that, we thought, okay, this is cool. We have to put it in the film. So quite important, this research stuff. And my 6 years of architecture school is not wasted. So I started sketching, and we started to do our own version of the workshop. And then our modeler to do modeling of all the things that can be found in the workshop, as small as clove bags, the slipper Japon. So we use Blender, the open source software. We started building the workshop and put all the things in it. So this is, at the end, this is what the workshop looks like. And because we wanted it to be authentic, we wanted it to be a Terengganu house, I opened back all my books that I had to see, what a Terengganu kampung house looks like. And we modeled it. It's very true. It's a Terengganu house, we've got people from Terengganu who caught all the little details, which we never told anyone that this is a Terengganu house. But when somebody from Terengganu who knows what Terengganu Kampung House looks like, authentic one, this is it. We have the rumah ibu, Abujang, all the joints are real. So you can actually construct this house. You have the willpower and the wood and the skill set to do this because all the joints and everything are true actually. So house. We have the house next to the workshop, and we wanted it next to on the beach, where all the pokok kelapa and everything. Everything is modeled in Blender, animated in Blender as well. So we modeled the buildings and then we painted over it. So we can have different moods. We can have senja, we can have malam, and we try to experiment to have the colors to be important. So this is something that, of course, the sky is not like that. Actually, we took pictures of the sky in Terengganu around that time, but it wasn't, epic enough, so we exaggerated and we just did what looked nice. We wanted it to be authentic. If you look at the stars, you knew if you're an astronomer, you knew that it was in Terengganu, but best lah, so we just exaggerated things. So you can see these are some of the paintings of the house. Interior, we did everything. This is Master's bedroom, where a lot of things happen here. And we had 50 camera setups for all the shots in Batik. We have color script. Our artist painted to see the mood. So you can see the top right, the greyish, the funeral scene, and when it's a bit lighter during the day, it's supposed to be happier. And we have the characters. So these are the final design that we went for. So this is Mars. Some of the development sketches that we did. So our artists experimented with the way that she looks, the clothes, expressions, and because it's non-dialogue, Batik Girl is non-dialogue, so people don't speak in it. We had to really look into how the eyes, the face conveys all the emotions that we wanted. So our concept artist for this one is actually a mechatronic engineer. She studied mechatronic engineer in Tokyo, but found out that she didn't want to be a mechatronic engineer. She was one of the top SPM scholars that was sent to Japan to study. She came back, did another degree in MMU, so now she's a concept artist. So we had all the colors and everything. Toma is older, so she lives alone in the beach. She's a bit eccentric kid. She's a Batik artist. And we're Batik Girl. Batik Girl is the creature in the Batik world which has that long flowing hair. So we wanted that long flowing hair because we wanted it to be like a brush. Her hair hits something in the Batik world and transmits colors. So we had to experiment on how wavy it is, how flappy it is in the wind, what direction it goes for Batik Girl. We're the shapeshifter. We call him Shadow. He can change into different shapes. So he's kind of like made of wax, so he can change into the different forms in the painting. So we did animation in Moho. Moho is a small animation software which has 3D properties. So that means that you can animate the models using 3D principles. For example, IK, inverse kinematics, where you can rig the eyes, you can open and close, eyebrows can go up and down, the head you can tilt it down. So it's a 2D software which uses 3D principles. Because one of the reasons is we had a shot that we wanted the camera to pan to go around the main character, and it was hard to do in 2D. So it was much easier to do in 3D. So all the so this is also this Batik Girl and all the controllers for the different parts of Batik Girl. In the Batik world, this was the earliest experiment. So we took a piece of Batik and wanted to make it into a world. So different artists had different approaches, and we thought it looked okay, but it can be improved. So some of the concept art that we did, and again, we wanted things to root in reality. So for the Batik world in the jungle, we were inspired by motifs in real Batik. So we looked at, Siti Fatimah Batik, motif daun berjalan. Daun jalan is like creeping vines. It goes. It's just a design, but when you're animating it, it looks like it moves like a snake. We have sirih emas, and we have dots and stars which are on Batik, which we wanted to animate to be like fireflies, and we use gradient greens as much as possible for things in the jungle. So this is the concept art. So when you put all these principles in it, it looks more like a real world as opposed to like a painting of a Batik that you just try to change into a world. The sea, we looked at this special kind of chanting which has multi-spout, so we can draw parallel lines as the waves, and there are things which benda pusing swirly things, and we use blue as much as possible in the sea. So again, here you can see the foam of the waves. You can put dots, and you can have the lines and things happening. We did not use this. We wanted to have a geometry world in Batik world. It's based on the design of the kain. So the design of the kain has the kepala kain, which is the geometric patterns there. Is pucuk rebung actually, the triangular thing. And we wanted to have like a maze section in the Batik world in which the characters go around. But we had to take out this scene because it was going longer than 9 minutes. We wanted to keep the short film less than 10 minutes. So this is the geometry part. And we have the mountains. The mountains has to be there. So we have motifs such as the Megama Dome. We have cracked Batik retak, which looks like rocks. And this is the end product. So the Batik world is a single panel because things happening in the Batik is on one piece of cloth. So it's quite long from the jungle. You have to sketch out everything right up to the sea and to the mountains. So some of the final paintings that we did. So we did all these paintings and we really knew in our mind how to animate things. The clouds and the lightning was easy, and we wanted the waves to reflect something calm at the start and something more chaotic and bigger at the end. So circles as a visual motif. So we have circles, the ring composition as a story structure. So we also wanted to say that circles is very important because it's the circle of life. Mars started out without people lost their family. At the end, Mars finds a new family. So circles as a motif was used to reflect this. So there are a lot of circles, and then you can see the sketch on the sand, the position of the people at the kubu, the Batik painting, and the sun coming up. Flowers as a visual motif also very important because our research shows that 85% of block Batik is flora, so it's flowers. And we wanted to have this flower motifs happening again and again in the show. So we looked at bunga cempaka pisang or the magnolia, It has 6 leaves, so you can see it in quite different places in towards the show. So Magnolia symbolizes femininity, and Toma wears this flower on her tudung all the time. And the music also has to reflect this, that again, that original idea of having two different things and at the end put together. So what we use is what we call a leitmotif. A leitmotif is a recurring visual and recurring audio cue which happens. So you know when Darth Vader comes in, that Imperial March song comes in. So we wanted Mask to have her own leitmotif. Uh, we collaborated with the Faculty of Music in UITM. So we had their lecturers composing different parts of the music. So this is Mas, and this is Tok Max. So at the end, we combine these two musical motifs together because Mas and Tomak is finally together as a new family. So we wanted a poster. So our designer designed some ideas for how the poster should look like. So we went with F, the final poster. Different approaches in F. We had the waves at behind, we had more of the sand, and this is the final poster on the left. So it was completed in middle of 2018. It went on a 1-year festival circuit until October last year, 2019. We uploaded it on our YouTube channel in November 2019, and it's on Astro On Demand if you want to see a 4K version with my commentary. Some of it I mentioned during this talk, and we've shown in 28 festivals, 17 countries. We won some awards, and we have friends from 104 countries around the world. It's going to be 30 festivals because even though we've ended our festival run, I was recently contacted by a festival in the US and another one in Iran who knew about Batik Girl and wanted to show Batik Girl festival. So when we released it, we just thought it'd be cool to have a short film. It'd be cool to have those laurels, and we had all this feedback from a lot of people. So even Dr. Wan Izzah, then the Deputy Prime Minister, tweeted about Batik Girl, Tourism Asia, and we have people from, those 104 countries talking about Batik Girl. So even the bottom right, we had somebody from Egypt who saw Batik Girl and saw somebody in a hijab in an animation, and she was, it was one of the first times she's seen a hijabi in animation, and that has inspired her to do movies herself. And we were like, okay, so we're very happy, but we also have to be very careful because people are reacting to Batik Girl. There was even somebody who actually mentioned that this story is her story. She lost her parents when she was young. She did not speak to anybody for a few years. She was staying with her grandmother, and now she misses her grandmother because her grandmother passed away. So this is lesson 4. Doing Batik Girl was out of our comfort zone. It was the first time that I was directing, so I had to read books, open YouTube, talk to director friends to see how to do this. And at the end of the day, it got really good feedback, and a lot of good things happened to us as a company after Batik Girl. So as a company, we have about 100 IPs in our IP library. We have 70 live action, 20 animation, and 10 miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is comics, graphic novels. So every time I see broadcaster, I pick these things from the IP library and tell them, hey, I have these three ideas. Which one do you guys like? And then they pick one, and then we further develop it. So we've sold about 10 IPs so far to broadcasters, TV shows, television movies, series, travelogues, things like that. Sorry. So this is our team. Very small company. There's 15 of us at the moment. So these are the creatives in the company. So what's interesting is we are people from outside the industry. I studied architecture. My partner studied law. We have a doctor who studied medicine. We have, the mechatronic engineer. We have two software engineers. We have a graphic designer. We have, a writer, two visual effects artists. But what we have in common is we all love stories. We all consume stories, consume content like the TV, movies, film, musicals, anything. So that is the second last lesson that I'm talking about. You assemble an awesome team. You don't need to do things yourself, but you have to surround yourself with people who are like you, who are positive, who can bring you higher. So assemble an awesome team. And okay, this second last slide. I think. Last year, 2 years ago, I had a workshop with this guy called Aaron Warner. He is the producer of Shrek. So he has 2 Academy Awards, and he's head of Sony Pictures Animation, the international side. So he's Hollywood. So he's worked on many Hollywood movies, and I had a workshop with him for a week in Laos, and a week I had to absorb all the knowledge he had, all the things that he could advise. And one of the things that was happening was I was actually writing a film, a feature film at that time, and I had a problem with my Act 3. So usually there's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 3 is a resolution where you wrap up the character and tidy up everything. So I couldn't figure out my Act 3, and I asked Aaron. I said, Aaron, help a bro out here. I can't figure out my Act 3. So he read my story, blah, blah, blah. And he nodded. He said, oh, okay. He opened his laptop, and then he showed me something, a film that he was writing, and he said, I'm writing this, but I cannot figure out my Act 3 as well. So the final lesson is don't have an inferiority complex. Hollywood guy has the same problem as me. And the only difference is his background is in Hollywood, my background is in Asia, Southeast Asia. But problems are the same, and it's how you address it, how you fix it, is how you come up with a good product. So that's the end of my talk for today. So I'll open up questions, so you can ask me anything about Batik Girl or my journey or anything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Irwan Junaidy. That's a great sharing session. I do have a few questions for myself. I believe that there's a lot of batik motif design there inside the Batik Girl animation film. Are those batik patented?
No, because in Malaysia nobody patents this except for one that I know of, which his company did research. He's the only one who's doing it, so he has copyrighted it. It's different patent and copyright, two different things. So he's copyrighted the design. Yeah.
I see. Okay. From the question bar on the right section of your screen, we can see there's a few questions here. From Atif Aiman, his question is: Love R&D's Batik Girl animation. I followed closely the animation industry since these 5 years marks the bloom of animation industry. My question is: How would you position your animation in Malaysia animation industry?
Okay, there's two things usually when you do animation or you do film or you do anything creative content. So the first one is you want to make money. So it's a commercial success. When you want to make money, if your playground is Malaysia, then you go for the mass media, the the things that people, a lot of things people can accept, the opinions and all those things. The other thing that you want to look for is critical success. Critical success is when you win awards, you win Oscars, you win all these things. So usually the critical success are more arty and more depth, and it's a lot of thinking has to be done into it. So as a creative, you'd love to do the critical success. You love to have the your peers say that's cool, people say it's cool. But as a businessman, of course, you need money to run the company, you need money to pay salary, everything. So it's trying to have a balance of both is the best way that you can do it. So a lot of success from the animation industry, especially last year, was due to the three big movies. There was Upin Ipin movie, Chris Yamang, there was Jen Ali, the first movie, and there was Bobo Boy, the second movie. So
Yeah.
all three movies made 80 million, I think, at the box office, and more on merchandise and licensing and all those things. So it's uh, a way that shows to parents that okay, if my kid wants to go into animation, it's okay. It doesn't need to be a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, and all these things because it's an industry that is big and it makes money. So it makes us easier to get talent in, and it's much easier now compared to 3 years ago.
Okay, I do have another question from Izzat Azri. What are the challenges in airing your work in Malaysia, especially marketing your animation in Malaysia?
Right now, it's much easier, especially during COVID, because a lot of live action shows
Yeah.
are on hold. So animation is an industry that's built to is COVID proof because we've always had teams working everywhere around the world, everywhere around Malaysia. So, for example, in Jungle Magic, the TV series that we just finished, we had 4 teams in Malaysia, one in Sabah, three in Semenanjung. So it's always like that, even before COVID. Much easier to do. Uh, One of the challenges before was the talent, because it was harder to get people in. But now there's a lot of people. I get, I don't know, 10 practical students every week, uh, applying, and even people who's working and everything now. So that one is not hard. But I think right now the challenge would be to go beyond Malaysian markets. So people like uh, Bobo Boy, they've done a new idea, Mekamoto, which I think is more international. And that is the step that we're supposed to take now. Go beyond Malaysia, go beyond regional, and go to Europe, go to North America. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No problem. So, okay, another question for me myself. There's a lot of question actually. There's all of our participants are really interested to know more about you. And then my question is, in producing an award-winning animation, definitely there's a backbone team ranging from visual effects, sound effect, animators too. Can you tell us because just now you said that you have 15 team members who the one who did all of the animation for the Batik Girl? Is that all?
No, actually. What we are is we
How big is
producers.
the production team?
We do pre and post. So the
Okay,
production yang tengah tu, we outsource to people.
I see. I
Yeah.
see.
So I think this is what I did mention before is this is my second company actually. My first company was a games company.
Mm-hmm.
I came back from UK, I started this company, and we had until 40 people or 50 people, and it wasn't fun for me because I wanted to create. I don't want to manage people. Manage sikit orang is fine, but manage a big team is the politics lah, all these things, the drama. So I didn't want that, and I decided that I didn't want to do production. I wanted to create. I wanted to finish it. So the
Yeah.
production part, I outsourced it to people. And when we did R&D in 2011, that's what we did. So we have a strong pre-team, a story team, and we have a strong post team. We can do VFX and all those things, composite, editing. But the bulk of it, we outsource it. So that's why we're small, but we work on, right now we're working on 7 animation projects. And so we outsource to people everywhere.
I see. For the next question here, this is from our second year student. If we would like to be as a digital content entrepreneur, what are the preparation that we need to consider?
Well, again, like I mentioned, like it's a marathon thing lah. For the first 3 years, this one's my games company. Games company. I graduated, didn't have money. I was married at the time, so I'm still married lah. And then we we started the company without money. So tak ada aircon. Our meeting table was a table we found tepi jalan. Ada 3 kaki only. So we had to balance books so that the table doesn't topple over, and it was a struggle. So you have to struggle a long, long time until you have your portfolio, you have your connections in industry, your networking, and once you have that, then it's much easier. Then jobs come to you. Before that, you've been going to people, you've been hustling, asking for jobs and all these things. So you have to be in it in a long run, and you need to personally, you need to take time out. You need to go short breaks so that you don't burn out lah. Because a lot of people, they burn out, tak boleh, struggle, and then they give up and do something else. They tanam jagung or whatever. So sometimes you know what you want to do, sometimes you don't. So again, like for me, I had to find my journey until I knew this is the thing I wanted to do, and just do it. But that semangat, your internal punya semangat tu has to be really strong, and you have to be hustling lah. Awal tu you have to hustle.
Yes, definitely. What a long journey, I would say. Next question is from Premandas. Okay, can you walk us through all the process when you're doing an animation film like Batik Girl, and how do you acquire your inspiration to create such a story? And what was going through your mind when creating Batik Girl? I think Mr. Irwan Junaidy also already told us a bit the inspiration, right, just now in your presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the one that yang idea can be anywhere. So
Yes.
for Batik Girl, it was actually us observing people. For Dalang, which was my film about the domestic abuse, it was my partner asking me, what would you do if you know somebody was being abused? So from that question, it triggered, what should we do? And I had to do research and blah, blah, blah. And talk to people, talk to experts, talk to abuse survivors and all these things. Then I knew the answer. I wanted to do a film from it. So ideas can be anywhere, observing, listening, anything can inspire you.
I see. Okay. We do have a question from Miss Yuzi. She's one of the MMD team here. In your opinion, do you think Malaysia will be able to produce an animation style like Pixar or Disney?
We can and we have produced those level of, because we're an outsourced country. We've done work for Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, but my opinion is we shouldn't copy their style. We should come up with our own style.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you do a Greek terrace house with Roman pillars in Malaysia when you have that kampung architecture where it's evolved with the weather, the environment, the climate. So don't copy people, learn from the experts, learn from Pixar. Their storytelling is top notch. Learn from Disney, but come up with your own style or look, and and I think that would be better because people are always looking for the next Moana. Moana is
Yes,
South
definitely.
Pacific Island stories. Coco, Mexican Day of the Dead. We're looking at other cultures. Disney is coming out with a Southeast Asia-based uh, film animation film called Raya, coming out in the next few years. So we have a rich library of stories, of culture, of arts, not just Malaysia but Southeast Asia. So we take from that and tell these stories for the world. I think that's more interesting.
Yes, and I believe that this is our time to showcase the world what we have, and then our own identity. Not only what we have, but then we can introduce it into animation industry too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Another question is from Izzat Azri. He's one of the research assistant in our faculty in University Malaya. What does it take for a local animation to reach great heights such as anime?
Um, I think it needs to be different than what's out there. We
Yeah.
cannot out Disney. We cannot out Cartoon Network because they've done it for years and they're really good at it. So it has to be our own take, our own story, our own style, and everything. And I think the world is accepting some things which are different. For example, last year, the last 2 years ago, the winner for the Oscars was one of the top hits was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which looks very different than whatever Pixar or Disney has done, and it was based on a comic because Spider-Man was based on a comic, so the visual look
Yeah.
was based on comic paneling and the inking and the printing methods and things like that. So if you look at something which is local and try to bring it internationally, that would work. But your storytelling has to be universal. Don't tell the story in a kampong about something very kampong, which only we can understand, and other people, the Matsalis, they don't understand. So your
Yeah.
storytelling has to be universal, but your location, your setting can be Southeast Asian. You can look, people can look like us in animation. Yeah.
Okay, another question from our second year student here. Since the digital content can be accessed through multiple digital media or devices, what are the significant differences of the production workflow between now and then?
There's a lot of new technologies that's been used now.
Yeah.
I've judged an international festival before, and I've seen people do animation the traditional way, 2D, 3D, stop motion. There's also people doing animation in VR, they're painting in VR. There are also people doing animation using game engines, using Unreal. So technology has given us so many opportunities to do a lot of different things. It used to be time consuming, expensive, takes hundreds of people. Now somebody with an Unreal Engine, can just animate things easily, but they have to, know how to use Unreal. So it has been democratized instead of, people with big resources and time that can wait. Now the little people can wait. Everybody can wait. So it's wonderful that there's so many opportunities that's out there now. We're also working on virtual characters. You know, celebrities. There are celebrities on the internet which are virtual characters. Lil Michaela, he's a 3D model.
Wow.
So many things that you can do. Yeah.
So we have another final question here. Um, this is from our lecturer itself. Would it be possible
Okay.
for FSKTM to collaborate with our would it be possible for our Faculty of Computer Science Information Technology to collaborate with R&D Studio? Maybe have some sort of agreement for our intern student, or R&D Studio can become our consultant or collaborators for our grant project. This
Oh
is from
yeah, yeah.
our lecturer.
Yeah. We've never had a UM student as our intern before, but We've taken private universities, we've taken public universities for interns. We're working with tailors actually for the virtual characters. So we had an idea, and then they said, there's just 20 students. They can do the design, they can do the modeling, they can do the mocap. Uh, and we supervise them. We say okay, ta okay. We provide them with music with our partners, and we're doing their virtual characters dancing to music video. So okay, boleh saja.
Definitely. So I think that's all for the Q&A session. Thank you so much, Mr. Iran, for your time. We know that he's a busy man, but he's still willing to spare some time for us. So please give a round of virtual applause for our panel today. I hope that everyone here managed to get key takeaways from this session. Last but not least, I'm representing myself and the team would like to apologize for any weaknesses or mistakes from our side in this session. Thank you so much, Mr. Irwan Junaidy. We hope to see you soon again. This marks the
Okay,
end
thank
of
you
our
everyone.
session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys. Good luck.
For your information, we will make today's session available for rewatching on YouTube. Hence, you may visit our Multimedia Day YouTube channel. We will we will place the link by the end of this session too. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Irwan Junaidi.
Okay, thank
So
you.
let's
Bye
have a
bye.
break for open session for 15 minutes, and we shall continue for the next session with the multimedia alumni later at 3:30. Thank you.